What, you mean a string of nonsensical emojis? Fire, sword, donut, spaceman, clock, dancing lady, flashlight, thumbs up. How am I supposed to know what that means?
I ignited the flaming sword, used it to cut a hole in space and time. Mum's light flooded through it, then it closed up behind her. All good.
Oswald, my friend!
Bruce Wayne, what a lovely surprise. You certainly are getting out quite a lot these days, aren't you?
The way I see it, everyone else in this town is having fun. Why shouldn't I?
I agree. You and your insanely large bank account are more than welcome here.
We're gonna need your shrink ray, Ray.
I'm not particularly fond of that name.
That was the metal. That was the metal version.
Yeah, Charles went from doing a hula almost to a metal version of the song.
It just flowed right into it, didn't it?
So, if you guys were wondering why I was giggling so much, that was why.
I try.
Welcome.
I try really hard to make Karen smile.
Yes, he does, and he succeeds every week. This is episode 127B of the Fandom Zone for the week of January 27th, 2017.
Yes.
So it's
welcome to part 2. Hopefully not labeled part 1 this week.
Uh-oh.
Because
coming out on that?
Maybe I am. Just saying is all.
And we will be discussing Black Lightning, 102 Lawanda, the Book of Hope, Arrow 611, We Fall, and that is, of course, a continuation of last week's Divided, We Fall.
Right, got it. Divided, We Fall, yes.
Yeah.
I see what you did there, Arrow Writers.
Yeah, not me. I didn't do it.
You didn't...
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 509, Best Laid Plan.
Yes. All right, so we got just 3 shows. Hopefully we'll knock this out pretty quickly. Yep. But, so let's start right off with Black Lightning.
Yes, so excited.
Lawanda, the Book of Hope, written by Salim Akil once again, but directed by Oz Scott this week.
Yes, and I do have to say, the direction, impeccable.
Yes. Yep.
Because there was a stairwell fight in this episode.
Wait, stairwell fights? That's only allowed on Netflix.
Yeah, but this one was pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I have to say. And the whole point was that he was out of shape. Right. So he was running upstairs, which I thought was a pretty good gag.
Well, I thought there was one great moment I liked where he's like, brother needs all the exercise he can get.
Right. It was great.
That was good. I like that line.
Running in, he asked the doorman, which apartment's Lala's, and he says the penthouse. And he's, just knocking people out left and right as he goes in with the lightning. And then the elevator guy's showing no fear. I'll let Black Lightning in my elevator. He goes, I got you.
Well, it's like he ushered him right in. Like,
yeah.
just come right in, Black Lightning. Nice to see you.
Oh, well, I got you, brother. And he goes, nah, I need some exercise. Or whatever.
He said like, brother needs all the exercise he can get.
Yeah, I'm just starting this up again. Brother needs all the exercise he can get. And the elevator guy's like, you got that right.
No, he's just more like, yep, I hear you.
Yeah, exactly.
So he starts jumping up, going up the stairwell, and
yeah, and the whole guise was that he's out of shape, and he's just knocking these guys out every flight of stairs, knocking them out all the way up the stairs, and it was.
Well, one of the things that I like the way that we talk about that, and we started out this episode with he's moaning in agony. Because he's kind of feeling like
he's out of shape.
Well, it's not just that. It's like it's the Indiana Jones thing. It's not the years; it's the mileage.
Right.
I thought of that right off the bat because you're just like, oh, I'm feeling. Because keep in mind, all right, his daughters are like 18,
teens, right?
late teens. So
Yeah.
presumably Jeff is like in his 40s now,
Right.
around like early 40s maybe. So
Yeah.
it's not quite he's in his 20s anymore.
Right.
So he's starting to feel it a little bit.
Sure.
So yeah, it's just like,
And he's already taken punishment from
right,
being Black Lightning.
right.
So yeah.
So yeah, so he wakes up. He's agony in bed, and we see him like he goes to the bathroom, and you see like lightning going across his body.
Right.
And
He's not really in control of
well,
it.
is it? And then, well, it's just more like maybe he's having muscle cramps or something going on because his muscles are out of shape or whatever. So
It was great.
yeah.
All right. Let me do my A, B, and C.
Yeah, please do. We're
Getting too far into it.
Yeah, we are. But
the direction was great.
yeah.
Okay. A story. A Mother's Sacrifice. I thought I'd choose a somber title for that.
Right.
B story. Lightning Rises and Climbs. Which I thought. And then C story. Mini Lightning.
Right.
That
We
was a
should call
girl.
her Mini
Mini Lightning. Exactly.
Yeah.
Another.
Or
mini
Thunder.
duck. Mini Thunder.
Thunder.
So Mother Sacrifice.
Thunder in
No.
this oh, sorry. There's a Thundercats reference for you.
Thundercats. Lawanda, the title of the episode. Lawanda is the mother in this case. Now, what is her kid's name again? Because
Hold on.
Lakeisha Winta? I mean,
No. I'm not sure what her kid's name is.
Oh man, it was.
Just talks about her kidnapped daughter. I don't think I have her.
Oh, she names her.
I don't have it here.
Well, her daughter was kidnapped,
Yes.
like his daughters were,
Right.
and she wonders why his daughters were the only ones saved.
Yeah,
and rightly so.
well, yeah, she calls him out, like, just holding this assembly at Garfield High School. And he's trying to reassure everybody, like, look, it's all good. Black Lightning showed up. And she calls him out, and she's like, okay, why did Black Lightning save your daughter but not the other girls?
Right.
And Black Lightning's just like, well, Jefferson is just all like, ugh, awkward.
Right. Exactly.
Ooh, look at the time. Gotta go. Bye.
Look at the time. Yeah, no watch on.
Yeah.
But yeah. So he realizes that he's in between a rock and a hard place.
Yep.
He knows he can't get together with his wife again if he becomes Black Lightning. But he can't not be Black Lightning.
That's what he realizes at the end of this episode.
Right.
Is that I want to be with you, Lynn, but think of all these lives I can save.
Right.
And she's writing off as, well, Jeff, you're just being, this is your addiction.
Yeah, and boy.
And it's like, is it really an addiction or just that he's really needed right now?
Yeah.
So Lynn's kind of being a little selfish here, in my opinion.
She's a biatch, is what she is.
Well, it's just she's not. Maybe she'll come around. Hopefully, she'll come around. But
it's
right now,
wrong of her.
She's putting her own selfish wants and desires and trying to project that onto Jeff.
I guess, but it's just wrong.
And
the
it's
way
like,
she's being.
Yeah, like he has this power. It's not like he's just like some guy going out.
Right.
He has superpowers.
Right.
So apparently, he's not supposed to use those
to help everyone.
To help everyone.
Right.
So not the.
It was okay to save their kids.
Yeah,
but
yeah, it was okay when it's like, when it affected their daughters.
It's just so wrong.
Yeah.
And Peter Gamby.
Yep.
Is
James
giving
Remar,
her
James Remar.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so good in this. He gives her a bit of a comeuppance there at the end too, doesn't he?
A little bit. Kind of gives her something hopefully to think about.
Right, which I liked. He's helping as well with some insider information every now and then, which I like. And he's giving him some balance to think about as well.
Right.
You know, he's putting it in his head that, you know, you don't have to just think about getting back with your wife. There's other things to worry about in this city.
Right.
And there's that. And he also finds out some really horrible things that the police, all they did is investigate the motel, and they reopened it right away. And that does not sit well with him. That doesn't do anything. Lala reopened it right away, pimps out those kidnapped girls. They have pretty much just either brainwashed the girls, or they have them so
broken,
drugged up and broken that,
Yep.
you know, they can't really do anything.
They're trapped.
Yeah. So there's not much they can do. So either the girls won't turn, or they have the girls so out of it that they can't turn.
Right.
Or, you know, they have them hidden away or whatever. Or, you know, they'll disappear. And the cops feel like they can't do anything. Well, then Black Lightning is needed. And it just comes down to this horrible choice that he has to make at the end of the episode, and his wife is just not cooperating through the whole thing, and it really bothered me.
Well, and their daughters are still in danger because they're essentially witnesses.
Yeah.
So
and it becomes super clear really early on.
Yeah, there was this great moment where like Jennifer and Lynn are like on the front porch, and this young kid comes up pretending to be selling candy.
Yeah.
And then he squirts her with a water pistol with paint.
Right.
Like blood.
That looks like blood.
That looks like blood. So essentially it's Lala's message that, hey, this kid could have just easily shot you with a real gun.
Right. Because of course they walk right by the policeman. The policemen don't realize that that kid might be one of the gang members, but he definitely could have been a gang member.
Yep.
And could have had a real gun. So,
yeah.
And Lala is essentially sending a message that we could get to you anytime.
Right.
And at the end of the episode,
so it's on like Donkey Kong, essentially.
Well, at the end of the episode, Lala's not much of a threat.
No, he's not.
However,
yes,
that doesn't mean that there isn't a threat to his family. Lala's boss is still around, and we have no idea how Lala's boss feels about everything, right?
Yeah. So we have Tobias Whale.
Yeah.
Essentially walking into the cell where Lala's being held. This is how we end the episode. And he chokes the guy one-handed.
Yeah, up against the wall.
Up against the wall. Not just by, like, two-hand choking.
Right.
Crushes his windpipe by one hand.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, now obviously he's got the cops in the payroll who could just let him waltz in. So essentially, like, he's the kingpin of this series.
Right. Now, he says, you can't be killing someone's mother.
Right.
So, I mean, it looks like he has a conscience, but he really doesn't. Right. It's just that it was filmed.
Yes.
And that's really the thing, is that there was evidence left. So, you know, he can't have someone like Lala on his payroll. Now, I'm going to miss Lala, actually, because I thought he was an interesting character, but I do see why, you know, the way it was written, he had to go.
Well, yeah, but it also, because, well, for one thing, he's inside jail, so Tobias had to take him out so that he wouldn't flip on him.
Right.
And it also shows Tobias what of a threat he really is. That he's the big threat.
Right. So we do have a different plot point now. Now, we know that Lala's dead, so that's going to be where we start the next episode.
Right.
And I'm assuming this Tobias is going to come up and assert himself, yeah?
Yeah, I'm sure. It's going to escalate from here.
Right.
I'm sure.
Right. And LaWanda had been doing some surveillance of the motel.
LaWanda is not letting this go at all.
No. And she was bringing news crews around and
so essentially she and Jefferson confronts her.
Yeah. It says,
and
better stop it.
Like, look, you're going to get yourself
Just
killed.
give me a couple days to try and get this shut down.
Yeah, he negotiates that. He says, like, okay, give me 48 hours.
Yeah.
And she agrees.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, she's like, I'm going to sit here and watch this motel. Mm-hmm. So he's like, okay, that's all you're doing. As long as that's all you're doing, okay.
Right.
So she does that.
But it's too late.
But she comes up with a plan.
Yeah.
And she's willing to... This is how committed she is to this. I mean, this is serious commitment here. She sets it up so that she confronts Lala in the parking lot or whatever. Mm-hmm. And provokes him enough to knowing that she will get shot and killed.
Right.
And her goal is to have it recorded on her cell phone camera, which is positioned in her car window, as it turns out.
Right.
And this is what ultimately gets him brought in.
Right. And it helps that as they walk by her car, it falls into the seat or onto the floor or whatever.
So they don't see it. Yes.
They don't even see it. Yeah.
So essentially she takes herself off the board to bring Lala down.
Right. But then, she pretty much leaves her kid motherless, which is dumb, but whatever.
It is, but that's how committed she was. I was just like, wow.
Right. And through all this, Jefferson decides he's going to be Black Lightning again and go after Lala in the middle of the whole thing. As we said, he goes into Lala's building and runs up the stairs and goes after him.
I thought it was a little corny the way he just walks right in, starts busting crap up, and he's just like, okay, that happened, and we're done.
Yeah.
I thought it was this like...
It was silly.
It was a little silly that they just kind of like knocked that right out.
Still great, though.
Yeah.
And Lala does end up getting taken in by the police. I mean, at that point, Jefferson's standing there, going to do his vigilante justice, and the police break in because they found that evidence.
Right.
They tell Jefferson to put his hands up as well.
Yep.
And he goes, "Oh, see you later," and
Bye.
he jumps out the window.
Yep.
Yep. So the police just take Lala in.
Where he's like, "Detective, nice to see you again. Bye."
Yep. And we have established now from his daughter's account that it's difficult to look into his face. So I'm guessing that's his disguise.
Well, maybe he maybe kind of like blurs. I mean, he does wear a mask.
Right.
But maybe
his daughter said that it's...
Yeah, because of the electricity or whatever, it makes it a little harder. Yeah.
So yeah,
kind of like looking into an arc welder, probably.
Yeah, that he's very bright.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's that. That's why all these people are looking at him and they don't recognize him.
Right. Can't get a real close look at his face.
Right.
Presumably.
And then I like that she said that actually, because it gave me a little.
Yeah, like it's less of a hand wave.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you recognize this guy? It looks exactly like Jefferson Pierce.
Right.
Yeah.
You could recognize your dad.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
But she said, yeah, it's like looking into the sun, or
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
So yeah, that was a good plot point, and then of course Lala gets killed, and then we have this other subplot where his daughter, who is with her girlfriend for most of this episode.
Yeah. Now they started off with some really heavy, like they're naked in bed.
Yeah. Having some sex talk. And...
It's like, well, gee, we don't see that on Arrow, do we?
Nope.
So,
although we've seen them, we saw Oliver and Sarah.
Yeah, but I mean, this is actual black lesbianism.
Yeah.
Which we don't get on Arrow, do we?
Well, that's true. We don't.
Yeah, so this is a big deal if you're, an LGBT.
That's great.
This is a pretty big moment, I thought. Like
Yeah.
you have a big LGBT moment on a superhero show like this.
Yeah. Several, actually.
Several, yeah.
Yeah.
So and we kind of got a hint of it that Anissa was a lesbian.
Right. In the first episode.
In the first episode, but here it's pretty laid out pretty clearly.
Yeah. 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
And then there's a great moment toward the end of the episode where she ends up going to the drugstore.
Right.
And
to get sleeping pills because she's having nightmares.
Yeah. And apparently, she's been waking up with nightmares. And, she was talking to her girlfriend about that. She broke the sink.
Right. Because she had a panic attack.
Right.
She doesn't understand why she broke the sink.
Yeah, and her girlfriend's kind of like, well, hey, that just was a panic attack. It's, that happens. And it's like, who breaks the sink?
Right. No one.
No one.
Well, Jessica Jones.
Yeah, but
as we established.
but I just thought the girlfriend just glossed over the whole breaking of the sink rather easily.
Well, they do kind of have to justify it, right?
Kind of.
Don't they? Kind of.
Maybe they figure, well, okay, your adrenaline was up because of whatever.
Sure.
But
so
she goes to the drugstore to get some medicine.
Yeah, and it's being held up.
Yeah, there's a robber, and so she thinks for a moment, and she starts like doubling over in pain at one point, and then her powers kick in at that point, and she just throws the guy over like a shelf, knocks down a shelf or whatever.
Yep.
Takes him out. So Anissa bringing the thunder.
That's right. And she takes the sleeping pills. She kind of goes, huh.
Yeah.
Huh. Takes the sleeping pills up to the counter, sets them down, and goes, huh.
Well,
and just walks away.
She doesn't take the pills with her. Like, maybe I don't need these.
Yeah. Maybe she understands why.
Maybe she's kind of getting it now. So it's just like, okay.
Yeah, but the whole look on her face was like, huh.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I was more like, oh, that happened.
Yeah. I really liked it. Her little self-awakening thing. And the woman behind the counter was like, oh, thank God.
Meanwhile, the youngest daughter, Jennifer, is just getting stoned on a roof and hooking up with a boyfriend.
Okay, yeah. She's going steady now.
Yeah.
Right, with the boyfriend. And she shows up at the gym with liquor.
He gives her a necklace.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, was he just carrying this around?
Well, he went over to ask her to go steady.
Oh, okay, he went over. Okay, I didn't know it was all part of his plan.
Yes.
Okay.
So sweet.
So she's okay. So not just on top of she's doing joints every so often, but apparently now she's even doing liquor on top of it. So apparently Jennifer's having some serious issues right now.
Well, she was just kidnapped.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Now her boyfriend kind of like is like, you are not doing this.
Yeah.
So credit to the boyfriend.
I agree. He says, no, it's one thing to, get a little high, but the whole drinking thing, no.
Yeah.
There's no.
Yeah.
I'm not letting you do this.
That's where he draws the line, apparently.
Well, she's drunk in the middle of the day.
Right. It's not a good look, yeah. Because she was like drinking behind. We saw her like drinking with her friend, like hiding in bleachers or something.
Yeah. There's a whole different thing there.
Yeah. So the question is, Jennifer is eventually going to hopefully get her act together.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a bit of an arc for her.
Yeah.
And we're going to see. I think he's going to help her through it.
Hopefully she doesn't turn to drugs.
Like she already is.
Although,
I hope they don't demonize pot, to be honest.
No, I think it might. Well, I'm wondering if it's going to be the gateway drug to other harder stuff.
Please, let's not even go
like
there.
Opioids, maybe?
Oh, could be.
Just saying. It's out there right now. It's very topical.
It's true.
And this show was trying to be topical.
Yeah.
I would consider it a possibility at least.
That's true.
So
All
we'll
right.
see.
Well, we'll
But
see.
I'm hoping for Jennifer's sake that doesn't happen.
I am too.
Because Jennifer becomes a superhero of her own right eventually, so
Mm-hmm.
we need to keep her around.
Yeah. So how is Mom going to feel about one of her daughters being a superhero?
Well, I guess we'll find out. I'm guessing it's not going to go down very well.
I don't think
If she's mad at Jeff for going back out and becoming a superhero, she's going to flip out when her daughter becomes a superhero.
Mm-hmm. She is literally going to flip out.
Oh, and we find out something also interesting about Anissa and her girlfriend. Apparently, Anissa, like Jeff and Lynn, know that Anissa is a lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
She's out to them.
Yes.
But her girlfriend isn't.
Right.
To her parents.
Right.
So I just thought that was interesting. Jeff and Lynn are the cool parents who
and they couldn't remember her name. Yeah. Carol, I think. Yeah, that's what they said. She's with her girlfriend, Carol, I think. Like they're so invested in her life that they don't know.
Right. It's no big deal.
Yeah. All right. So what did you think of the episode? I really loved it.
I liked it too. I knocked off a half point because I just thought the whole like charging up the stairs and like.
Oh, see, I loved that.
I just thought it was a little corny. But and then I don't think it was as strong as the previous week.
It wasn't, but I still loved it.
So I give it. Still, I liked it a lot. 8.5 cell phones in a car window. So,
very nice.
Good stuff.
I stayed with the 9 bottles of sleeping pills. I really dig this show.
Yeah, this is great. So far, Black Lightning is off and running.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like it.
Yeah. Let's hope it continues.
All right.
And
Arrow.
For those wondering, it's going to be a 13 episodes first season.
Mm-hmm.
So
pretty normal.
I'm saying first season because it's probably going to get picked up.
Yes.
I'll be surprised. I'll be surprised if it doesn't.
I'll be shocked.
At least for 13 more episodes. Mm-hmm. Like maybe as a mid-season, but replacement. Although if you've seen Arrow's ratings lately,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Well,
they'll keep Arrow though.
Yeah, but not looking good right now for Arrow.
Yeah, well, but they'll keep it. It's linchpin.
All right. Speaking of Arrow,
Arrow 611, We Fall.
Yeah. So written by Speedweed and Spiru Skensos.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are just making these names up.
Right? Directed by Eagle Eagleson.
Directed by Wendy Stansler.
Darn it.
Yeah, sorry. You keep waiting for that Speedweed and Eagle Eagleson pairing.
It has to happen.
Eventually, maybe it will.
Can we ask for it? All right. A story, another Sun Vendetta.
Okay. Yeah.
Really? Can we recycle that?
Why not? Recycle everything else on Arrow.
B story, mistrust but verify.
Nice, I like that one.
C story, Will I Am Sorry.
Nice. Very clever. That's very clever. I like that one.
I'm glad you enjoy that.
That's a good one. All right, so another Sun Vendetta is presumably talking about Caden James.
Yeah.
Who we find out apparently last week we were talking about like what is the motivation here.
Right.
So apparently we get some motivation that apparently Oliver killed his kid a year ago.
So it's either you killed my dad, you killed my kid.
Yes.
That's the whole. Every year it's this.
It's very pedestrian considering we've been through this stuff before.
Right.
Right.
It can't be.
Or like when it was Deathstroke, it was like you killed Shadow.
Right.
Yeah.
It can't be you took my business. It can't be you ruined my life. It can't be any of that. It's always you killed my kid. You killed my dad. Yeah. But this is even a misunderstanding.
Well, to be fair, Oliver did kill a bunch of people.
It's true, but he didn't kill this guy's kid.
Yeah.
Because he was in another city.
Okay.
When this guy's kid was killed.
So apparently this is the big motivation, and Caden James is apparently such a super hacker, he can hack into everything. Elevators, TVs, cell phones, whatever, and apparently turn them all into weapons somehow.
Yes, microwaves are cameras.
Yeah.
As our president taught us.
Right.
Remember?
Right. Well, it's all part of the deep state.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Okay. If you're buying into the deep state,
then maybe you'll buy this storyline.
You might as well. You probably buy this storyline too. I'm just saying. All right. The secret societies.
Yeah. This is so far out of left field. This whole. I mean,
how does this work? How do you weaponize an elevator?
You electrify it.
Yeah,
I mean that's how he did it. But I
mean, don't you have to like go into the elevator and set it up with that it's electrified?
You would have to take off the short.
You couldn't just like hack in with a computer and make it electrified.
No.
There's no way to do that.
Because there's a short.
Yeah, there are breakers.
Right. There are things that you would have to subvert.
Right.
That are physical.
Yes.
That you just can't do from a distance.
Right. If you have any basic knowledge of how electricity works.
Yeah.
There is no way. There is no. There you would have to take physical steps.
Right.
To turn an elevator into like a big taser.
Right.
Taser room.
Right. Yeah. You can't really. You can't do the things he did. You just.
Yes. It doesn't work.
It's impossible to do everything. Now, are some of those things possible? Sure. You can take control of a car.
Right.
We have found that out.
Right.
You can take control of a car and kill someone.
You can manipulate software. You cannot manipulate hardware.
Right.
Without physically being active about it.
Correct.
And doing something.
Right. There are certain things you can do. Can you take control of the trains that run in our city? No. You can't do what he did. Like, oh, look, he fused the breakers shut.
Yeah.
What?
With a click of a button.
It showed that like he had they had to switch all those things back. What? How could he have done that from his computer?
Yeah.
They had to go and move the levers.
Yes.
So this is
this show.
Right.
This show.
Okay, so that
this is what separates Black Lightning from this show.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they got so deep into this whole hacker thing, they can't fight their way back out of it.
Right.
And they don't know how to write hacker things.
You've got people writing about hackers that don't know anything. A damn thing about hackers.
No.
Yes.
No.
It's all like straight from like, okay, we've watched movies about hackers.
Right.
And we think
you watched The Net with Sandra Bullock where the escape key was the button that you pressed in order to kill everything. That was literally the key. The escape key did everything. And he was making all the things on the inside of the tunnel explode into fire.
Sure, why not?
There's nothing that can catch on fire inside a tunnel because the tunnel would be a liability at that point.
Right. It'd be a fire hazard.
Right. And they would never allow a tunnel to be a fire hazard.
Yes.
I mean, that's the whole point of a tunnel is it's safe to go through. So yeah, it's just bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
So we have to so there's moments where they have to save, like Diana, Curtis, and Renee save like 2 subway trains from colliding.
Yeah.
And now there's we'll talk about this when we talk about Will I Am. Sorry, but there's this, like Oliver has to go rescue William, who's on a school field trip.
Right.
Okay. This school field trip.
Yeah.
Apparently, the only people on this bus are the bus driver and
the kids
and bullies and William.
Do you think? Well, there were other kids.
But my point is,
no teachers.
No teachers.
Yeah.
Who is overseeing?
No guardians.
Who lets their kid go on a field trip?
No.
With no teacher supervision.
Yeah.
There's only the bus driver. Apparently, the budget in this episode could not afford
an
extra
extras.
an extra to be a teacher.
Well, Will had to be the one to calmly get them off the bus.
Exactly. Which normally would have been the teacher, right?
Right.
But there's no teachers.
Right. So they couldn't write a teacher in.
Right. And you notice the bus driver is not getting any dialogue.
Horrible. Because the bus driver had to get off to see what was happening.
Right.
With all the fire.
Right. So he just
because in the middle,
so he leaves the kids alone.
Right. Because in the middle of a tunnel.
Because there's no teachers.
Of course you would get off the bus and make sure everything's all right.
I was just like, come on, what is this field trip? What school does this? Did something happen? Like maybe I'm old now that somehow we can do a field trip.
Make it so Will could help.
Yes. Yeah. So William has to be the leader in the situation, the crisis. Just he's a chip off the old block, just like Dad.
He is a better shot with the Nerf gun.
Yeah, that's true.
Which was kind of funny, actually.
Well, I think Oliver was intentionally tanking that.
You think?
I think he was. Yeah,
he looked pretty frustrated.
No, he's just trying.
They didn't have a good.
Trying to act. Look.
It's not like they were real bow and arrows.
I understand
they were
that.
Just that little rubber band.
Foam thing. Yes, I know, but I think he was intentionally throwing because you don't want to you want your kid to get some confidence. You don't want to.
Yeah.
You want your kid.
And he has been telling him that he's not the Green Arrow anymore.
Right. But still.
Which is super dumb.
And it makes your kid feel better. Like, hey, I can shoot better than my
Green
Arrow. Yeah. That's what you do for your son.
Okay. I wouldn't know.
If you're a good dad, you do that for your son.
Okay.
Just personal experience on this.
Everyone I ever competed against as a kid.
Yeah.
In my family, at least, they didn't mind showing me that they could beat me if they could. They really didn't.
Well, if your dad,
my brothers were just horrible people.
If your dad is good and he's trying to raise your confidence level, then he takes a dive to make you feel better.
My dad taught me.
Yeah.
But he never competed against me. He taught me. But then my brothers would play against me, and they would be like, no.
Well, this would be one thing like It's Nerf guns. I can let William beat me at Nerf guns.
Nerf. Okay. All right.
Something like that.
All right. So anyway. The vendetta, that was the worst. Right? Just terrible.
Yes. It's a very lame motivation, and it still doesn't explain why everybody else is working with Caden James.
Agreed. Now, we did get a little interesting
apart from we hate
story.
Green Arrow too.
Right.
Yeah, that's the motivation.
Except for one of them.
Green Arrow shakes fist. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
One of them is vigilante.
Yes.
And he apparently might be
yes,
a traitor.
It seems that way, that he may be willing to flip for Dinah.
Might be.
So hopefully.
And that's my mistrust but verify.
He might be the weak link in the whole team Green Arrow Revenge Squad.
Right. Caden James Vendetta Squad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he gave Team Arrow B, or the Outsiders.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
Because I did like the nod, because I thought they would be. I actually thought that they would use the name Outsiders.
Did you?
Yeah, because for one thing, it works on two levels.
Mm-hmm.
Because with Green Arrow trying to be like Batman, it would make sense that we're going to steal from Batman and the Outsiders.
Right.
Okay, which is one of my favorite comic books from the 80s, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And on a second level, the Outsiders was actually, there's a version of it that was used in the Green Arrow comics by Jeff Lemire and Andreas Sorrentino.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a kind of a Green Arrow connection to the Outsiders.
Okay. So it would make sense for them to use it, but it was a cute little nod to that, I guess.
Yeah. So the question is, what are they going to call themselves?
But they actually kind of referred to the book, The Outsiders.
I know. Well, see, that was the thing.
Gang. Yeah.
But my point is, they used the DC superhero team and acknowledged that, hey, it sounds just
it's
like the S.E. Hinton book. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
The Outsiders. Yeah.
The Outsiders. Yes.
Okay, so the Outsiders got a tip.
Yep.
That there was going to be a problem right here at this crossing. of these two trains. And again, in case you guys don't know my reference, there is a idiom called trust but verify.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's someone that you trust but you don't quite trust, then you verify what they say before you dive all the way in.
Right.
So I say mistrust but verify, which is essentially what Curtis did, is that it's a guy from the other team came to him and said, hey, look into this. And so instead of just going for it, he calls Felicity and he says, hey, can you look into this? And Felicity said, yeah, it looks like it's turned off, which is, again, dumb.
Right.
But they do go there. They find out that the two trains are going to collide. They end up making sure it doesn't happen. And then they go back. And this is when Curtis lets them in on the whole, hey, the bad guy gave me that tip. And, Dinah's not thrilled about it because it's, Dinah's ex who has betrayed her again. And, she's not too thrilled. Hey, he might be doing something to suck us in again. And
right. It could be a trap and etc.
Right.
Yes.
And that was my thought, to be honest. But then he does show up at the next thing and kind of saves their ass as well. So, he gives them the tip for that, where the Caden is going to come and attack one of these safe houses. And he shows up there and bails them out, kind of helps them.
Yeah, he even takes out one of the guys.
Yeah.
To show that, hey, I'm helping you guys.
Right.
Right.
So he's either really trying to get in on their good graces in order to betray them at the end, or he is kind of a double agent. So who knows? I mean, at this point, the story's so effing convoluted. I don't know what he is. He's gone back and forth 3 times, right?
Well, Vigilante is supposed to be kind of like a lone wolf anyway.
Right.
Character, if you're following the comics.
Right.
So he really shouldn't even be with these guys.
He shouldn't be on either team.
No, he should be off doing his own thing.
Right.
Like the Punisher.
Right.
Right? Because essentially, the Vigilante is DC's Punisher.
He is.
Yeah.
And maybe he would show up and take out some guys that are doing wrong.
Right.
But otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'd probably show up and kill Caden James, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay, so Will I Am Sorry.
Yeah, okay,
we're starting to getting a little long here.
Okay, so Will is doing his homework. He's getting along with Felicity. He's getting along with Oliver. He's going on this field trip, and as we said before, he gets interrupted in this tunnel. He ends up saving a bunch of his classmates, but Oliver has to save him. And he realizes, hey, that's my dad in the Arrow costume. Whoops.
Yep. Yeah, so there's a little oh, Dad, you lied to me.
Right.
Which, welcome to Arrow, William, or Green, because Oliver lies to everybody.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
After promising, I'm never going to lie to you again. And then proceeds to lie again to everybody.
Right. So he takes him back to the Arrow Cave and shows him around, and he does tell him the truth. He says, yes, I quit being the Arrow, and Diggle took it up for me, but he was injured. And then William brings up a good point. Well, he's not injured now.
Yep.
And instead of explaining, he just got use of his hand back and blah, blah, blah. They don't get into it because they have other things to do. Well, we got to go off. Can you just please hang here? And so he stays there with Felicity, and Felicity ends up giving him this morality lesson. And, hey, sometimes he has to do these things. And I remember when he brought me this laptop, and he's had to lie to me many times. Blah, blah.
There's no real reason why I should trust him. But
pretty much, isn't that what she says?
Well, that's what she should say. That I should not be trusting him.
Right. You shouldn't trust me. I shouldn't trust him.
You shouldn't trust him at all.
I shouldn't trust you.
He will lie he will lie whenever it suits him.
Diggle shouldn't trust him. I shouldn't trust Diggle.
Nobody should Nobody should be trusting Oliver at this point.
No one should trust anyone here.
Yes. We're all lying liars who lie.
Yes. So yeah. So essentially it's just, hey, I'm sorry, and he doesn't really offer too much after that.
Well, no, he does give him the old standby, I promise I will never lie to you again.
But he will.
But he will. You know he will.
Of course.
Because it's Oliver, so it's such an empty promise at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then he's William tells like, okay, I guess I'm okay with you being Green Arrow now.
Yeah. Because of all the things.
Because I was worried I was going to be an orphan before you, but now that you're married to Felicity.
Now I won't be an orphan.
Now I won't be an orphan.
Because I'll have Felicity.
Yeah, and I don't really need you.
And who cares if you die?
Because you suck at math.
Right. Well, it's true. But Oliver knew what was it? I know what Coral is. Yeah, he's a guy from The Walking Dead.
Coral. You're welcome.
All right. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Now, you're going to think my grade is weird, though, because I didn't really hate this episode.
Yeah.
I thought there were parts that were okay.
Okay.
The fighting was good.
Yeah.
And at least we did find out what the whole vendetta was about.
Yeah.
And I went,
lame though it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Oh, and now Caden's blackmailing Oliver. We should.
Right. The city.
Basically, like, I will do more attacks unless you keep paying me, like, millions and millions of dollars.
1.5 million a day or something?
Yeah, something like that. Something ridiculous.
That would never...
No.
There's no way a city would be able to afford that.
No way. No.
All right. So what did you give it?
I gave it less than you this time.
Yeah,
7.5 windshield wipers covered in toilet paper. Now, I bring this up. This was my big sticking point. Okay, the beginning of this episode, Kate and James is going around killing off city council people.
Right.
Left and right.
Mm-hmm.
One of the council people, he goes out to his car. He finds it covered in toilet paper.
Right. He doesn't take any of it off.
He doesn't take any of it off. He takes a little bit of it off. Yeah. But the windshield wipers are obviously still covered in toilet paper.
Right. So dumb.
So he goes driving. The windshield wipers are flying.
Uh-huh.
They're covered in toilet paper. He can't see where he's going. Watch out for that tree.
Yeah.
Ah. Yeah. And it's just, really?
Yeah.
What?
It was dumb.
I was like, dude, you deserve to die for that.
I did notice that he hardly took any of the paper off.
Yeah.
He was being laughed at the time. Come on.
Cannot remove toilet paper from windshields. It's
too busy. Upset.
It's 2-ply. too strong. The toilet paper has defeated me.
Again, I thought we got a little clarity on the storyline.
This show,
and
I swear to
this
God.
shows how low the bar is set on this show for me. The fact that we got some clarity, no matter how bad the storyline is.
You're just going to chalk it up as a win because we actually got a little bit of motivational acknowledgement.
It's a win.
All right.
I give it 8 spare glasses because did you notice that? What's his name? I just forgot his name. No.
Kane James. What does he do?
The traitor.
Vigilante
opened up the little thing and there's like 5 sets of his glasses.
Oh.
Okay. His suit is horrible.
Yeah.
Those glasses are the worst.
Yeah.
So he's got 8 sets of spare glasses.
Okay.
Okay, so Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., our last show.
Ending on much more upbeat note.
Yes.
Yes. Best Laid Plans, written by George Kitson, directed by Gary A. Brown.
Yay.
All right. What's their A, B, and C?
Don't blame the Tessinger.
Nice. Like that. That was good. I like that one. I think that's my favorite this week.
Don't blame the Tessinger?
Don't blame the Tessinger. Yeah, I got it. That was very clever because she was the messenger and her name is Tess. It works. The Tessinger. Well,
and then the
played.
B story is Defying Gravity, if you know that song. I cannot sing that song.
Which song?
It's from Wicked, Defying Gravity. It's a very high soprano.
I've seen Wicked, actually, but I don't remember the song. So because I am not Broadway guy.
Super high.
Full disclosure, not Broadway.
So I cannot sing it. Do not ask.
Yeah.
And the wages of sin, Nara, is death.
Nice.
Thank you.
Very nice. Okay. So, don't blame the Tessinger.
Zombie Tess.
Zombie Tess.
This is how we're calling her.
The walking Tess.
At Nice Girls, we're calling her Undead!
Yep.
Exclamation point Tess.
You know my alternate title for this segment?
Is?
iZombie.
iZombie. Okay, why iZombie?
Well, for one thing, zombie.
Right.
She's like a zombie because she's back from the dead.
Right.
And she looks like Liv on iZombie.
She does kind of.
I mean, she's got the raccoon eyes.
Yeah.
And, the pale skin.
Okay.
So, zombie.
I think Tessinger's better.
It is better. Okay. But iZombie. It was a nod to the iZombie show.
Yes. Yeah. I was going to name it, what is it? Zombieland or something like that. But then put Tess in there somewhere.
I like Tessinger, so you're good with that.
But when she was a messenger, I was like, oh, Tessinger.
Yeah,
that's it.
You got it.
Don't blame the Tessinger. I like having Tess back.
Yeah.
Now, what are the ramifications to that?
Yeah.
She is different.
Slightly. So Tess, who was formerly dead, gets sent
mostly dead
as opposed to all dead.
Right.
If you're a Princess Bride fan.
Right.
Gets sent back by Cassius. I keep forgetting pronouncing it.
I know, it's all right.
Cassius. Okay.
It's hard to remember.
It is. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Don't worry about it.
All right. So Cassius sends Tessinger, brings her back from the dead just to send a message.
Yeah.
That, hey, you're like, all right, if Cassius doesn't get everything he wants, he's basically going to end the human race with the push of a button.
Right.
So, it's like, okay. So you brought somebody back from the dead for that. Okay.
Yeah. Now, Flint is thrilled because Tess is back.
Right.
Tess is scared out of her mind.
Understandably.
Because, Cassius is a god. At least that's what they've all been convinced.
Right.
He just has some sort of way to resurrect people. Apparently.
Right. But apparently that's a demonstration of his godlike power.
Of course.
Right.
It is the future, after all.
Yeah.
And Mac and Yo-Yo are not phased. They've seen weirder things.
Exactly.
So, they're happy to see her, but they decide after a bunch of other things happening, okay, well, they get it. Press a button. Okay, he's got bombs. So they find the bombs in the oxygen system.
Yep.
And they take one out and they show it to the people and they say, okay, he's going to kill everyone, but we have a plan. We're going to surrender, but it's not you guys, it's us. We're going to surrender to his demands and
will essentially be a distraction. Now, while we're doing this, we want you to move the bombs to the lower level.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the upper level and hang out safe.
Right.
And wait. Yeah.
Yep.
Stand by.
Right. And what I really loved about the whole Tess thing was that it looked like she was just terrified this whole time. And they send her back to Cassius, and all of a sudden she has the vial of blood and the crystal.
Yeah, the Terrigen crystal. Yeah.
And it was turned around on him at that point. And we realized that Mac and Yo-Yo had this great plan at that point.
Right.
Where, oh, guess what? We have your...
Yeah, we know about your bombs.
Right.
Right.
We know about all this stuff. We have your okay, what are metahuman? What are their metahumans called again?
Inhumans.
We have your inhuman making material.
Right.
And if you want it back, you have to come talk to us. And then they use the same words against him with the press of a button.
Right. They throw his words back at him.
Right. And so, of course, Casillas can't turn that down.
Like, yeah.
And they go to meet each other in that hallway.
It's a big face-off.
Right. And
corridor. Yeah.
I do love that they used the monologuing against him, which was great.
Right. He got me monologuing.
Right, exactly. They used his long-windedness against him. They used that time in order for the people to gather up all the bombs.
Yep.
Flint joining them in the hallway is apparently the cue that they have gotten all the bombs gathered up together.
Right.
And so that's where they kind of incite him to press the button. And he has literally turned everything on its head at that point. When he pressed that button, he has cut himself off from his workers, from the peons.
Well, and he tries to tell them, he goes, like, look, this is all you're doing. This is your fault. He's not, he's trying to say, he's essentially trying to shrug off any kind of responsibility here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this is on you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, go ahead.
Yep.
Please proceed.
It is on you.
Yep.
Exactly. We'll take the blame for it.
Yep.
And he presses the button and boom.
Yep.
And he has a bit of a comeuppance at that point. And then all of a sudden, in a flash of dirt and rubble, they are gone. And Casillas is livid.
Yep.
Just livid. And then last week, he sent Sinara. This is the wages of Sinara is death. He sent Sinara off to the planet in order to find our band of merry men, but also to confront Daisy.
Right. There's a big it ultimately leads to this big showdown between Daisy and Sinara.
Yep.
On the lower levels.
And it's kind of a choreographed fight on wires, and I thought it was a really great.
Yeah, because they fight in zero gravity.
Yeah.
That's and then all of a sudden May turns the artificial gravity on.
And they get jammed back down onto the floor.
Right.
And the fight was really well done, I thought, and she really had Daisy on the ropes.
She did.
It was not a fair fight.
Yeah. Daisy is scrambling to stay away from her.
Yeah.
And every time that Sinara would get a hold of her, it just like causes a beat down.
Yeah. And Daisy had a few times when she was on the stairs and she was using her boot to beat back Sinara. She kind of got a little ahead.
Yeah.
And then Sinara would
come right back.
Come right back at her.
And then Deke showed up.
Yep. Deke was the only thing that saved that fight, really.
Yeah. Deke shows up. He's got basically his like flying claw.
Right. And he distracts Sinara.
Yep.
Just long enough for Daisy to grab a pole and taunt Sinara back onto herself.
Yep.
And shove the pole right through.
Well, she gets the pole in position, and then the artificial gravity.
Yep.
Comes on or whatever and impales her on the pole.
Yep. Perfect.
It was perfect timing. Good. So
so good.
Yep.
Because
Sinara had floated up after her with the gravity, and then the gravity comes back on, and then shunk
right down on.
Yep.
So good.
So we have a Sinara sickle.
Yep.
So
I'm okay with it.
Yep. It was pretty good.
I kind of will miss Sinara because she was a really delicious
good villain. Yeah. Good. Well, like henchwoman. More like a henchwoman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also am not going to miss her.
No.
Because she was just vicious.
Well, I'm kind of just ready for the storyline to be over. So.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, a lot of people are. Laura, my wife especially. She's ready. She's not feeling the storyline.
Well, next week is the end of this arc.
Is it next week or the week after? Because I thought
next
it was
week.
Okay.
There's no week after.
Because, well, if this is a 22 episode season,
next week is when they start their break the week after.
Okay, all right, okay.
So next week is their
finale.
End of the arc.
Okay,
yes.
the arc. Okay, good. All right. Let's see what else. Anything else?
Well, we do have the gravity stuff, and we had a bit of a bootstrap paradox, didn't we?
Oh, yes, we did. I was wondering I forgot about the bootstrap paradox, but you're absolutely right. So
we did. I thought you'd want to talk about
the bootstrap paradox, as
we do.
Peter Capaldi might say.
Yeah.
If you're a Doctor Who fan. So yeah, we had Fitz and Simmons they're basically realizing that they've been trying to work on the Zephyr and get it up and running.
Mm-hmm.
And Simmons realizes that all the modifications on the ship were based on Fitz's own plans for a next-gen Zephyr machine.
Right. Theoretical plans.
Theoretical plans.
Yeah.
So then they end up finding gravitonium on the ship.
Right.
And which explains apparently how it hasn't fallen apart.
Right.
And it also proves that what Robin told them was that, it's essentially like a causal loop paradox, which is how they explain it.
Right. And
simply put is that we know how to build it because we saw it built
in the future.
Yeah. Right. So it kind of goes back in on itself, which is a causal loop. Now, in Doctor Who or in some other realms of physics, it's known as a bootstrap paradox.
Correct.
Because it's kind of like a bootstrap.
Right.
It goes back.
And it makes no sense. Yes. Because no one ever invented it, if that happened.
Right.
It means you saw it invented, so you knew how to invent it.
Yeah, exactly. So it exists because we saw it exist.
Right. Right.
And created it.
It's like in Star Trek 4,
it just happened.
Right? With the transparent aluminum.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yes, the transparent created itself. Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, it doesn't make sense.
Yes.
But.
Well, it's a loop in time. It's one of those that if you're a time travel geek, it gives you a headache. So,
yes.
Yeah.
It gives me a headache
because this is like, wait, what is it? It's chicken the egg argument, to put it simply. It's like, which came first?
Right. Yeah. But it's always the chicken, because an egg can't exist without a chicken to lay it.
But how would it become a chicken without the egg?
From the divine creator.
maybe the creator created the egg first.
That's just silly. Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Thank
but
the Mega.
It also means that the prophecy is true.
Yes.
That they actually did cause all this destruction and all the death. And they don't like that. So
yeah. Well, Fitz especially, because he's not predestination guy. No. He wants free. He's all about the free will.
Yep.
He doesn't want his whole life mapped out for him. Who does, really? I wouldn't. I would like to be in control of my own destiny.
Tell me about it.
More of a reassuring thought, right? But
sure. Don't get diagnosed with MS.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah. I feel you. So,
yeah, I understand how Fitz feels.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. So.
It is.
And he's worried that
that means a lot of things to him right now.
Yes, it does.
Simmons was predicted to die, and no matter how.
So he's worried if this all just plays out like it's supposed to, I can't change Simmons dying at some point.
Not just that, but the whole Earth is going to be destroyed.
Well, there's that. Yeah. There's that too. But I think what we're going to find out is that the Earth doesn't get destroyed.
Right.
And
hopefully
Simmons
Simmons is okay too.
Yeah. So that means yes. So maybe if that changed.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll see. Anything else about this? Anything else about this episode?
Well, I do want to say that I hope also Flint can stay in the picture. I don't know why. I just like him as a
Maybe
character.
they'll bring him back to the present.
I think that would be cool.
Yeah. Well, for one thing, he's supposed to be in the present because he's part of the Inhumans.
I know. So let's bring him back.
So bring him back to the present.
Yeah.
So
he won't exist anyway.
Yeah. Well, he'll be a temporal anomaly.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, all right. I don't know that there was much more.
I don't think so.
Casillas is in a rage.
Well, no, yeah. We end the episode with he's basically going like, I'm going to finish this. And I know because I have a seer of my own. Dun, dun, dun.
Right.
Yeah, so who's his seer? Where'd that come from?
There's another blue guy in the picture.
Yep.
In the pictures for next
He's
week.
got his own Robin.
I guess.
Yep.
And there's also, if you saw the preview for next week, there's a bunch of stuff with Yo-Yo and Mac going down next week.
Yeah, it doesn't look good there.
Good.
No. Little friction between everybody's favorite romance on the show. Well, second favorite romance. Second favorite romance. I would.
Fitzsimmons.
Well, maybe third if you count Coulson and May.
Ugh. No. I don't like Coulson.
I like Coulson and May. I think that's a great pairing.
Mm.
They dance together. They're great. They're perfect. They're perfect. No. There's more there. There's more there. The chemistry.
Well, they're not in my top 3.
All right.
Mac and Yo-Yo. Fitz and Simmons.
Yeah.
Hunter and Bobby.
Okay. All right.
Deke's parents.
Fair enough. Okay. So, what's your rating for this episode?
Deke's dad is, right?
What?
Next week we find out who Deke's dad is, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it said it was Owen. So, Owen. They named him Owen in this episode.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So he's the guy?
Unless it's his middle name, maybe.
Or an alias.
Yes, it could be an alias.
He
is a spy, after all.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
All right.
Don't want to be acknowledged about, trying to hide who is being a baby daddy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right. So what's your rating for this episode?
I loved it. I gave it 8.5 vomit comments.
Because of the gravity, gravity fight. I love this one too. 8.5 sharp metal poles because ouch. Yeah. That's going to leave a mark.
It is.
Yeah. So we're very, very consistent here. Good episode, but I am looking forward to the storyline being over.
Yeah.
I'm back in the present day.
Well,
hopefully. Do you know what's coming? Oh. Dun, dun, dun. Farther in the future.
I think so.
Oh.
From what I've heard.
Interesting.
So, that's only a rumor. Okay. So I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. We'll see.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
So, that's it for that. And we do have some...
Yeah, we have some Justina feedback we need to get to.
It's quick, though. I get to read it.
Yeah, please do.
Hi, wave emoji, Karen and Charles.
You're going to do it in the Justina voice.
Hi, Karen and Charles. Wave emoji.
There you go.
Kind of weird that we went to a star emoji, that is poisonous, skull emoji, to the Y chromosome. But it made for interesting teamwork in our gender-specific team. Still don't know why Rain was so powerful. I guess her power is less dependent on the yellow sun. Actually, she's so powerful because she was manufactured to be more powerful. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. I feel like Ruby is Sam's anchor. With Ruby present, I don't think Rain can take complete hold of Sam. However, as they find more world killers, I worry that will increase Rain's hold on Sam. I really like Livewire got a moment to be a hero before her sacrifice. Me too.
Me too.
Flash was super fun. Sometimes Ralph bothers me, but I really enjoyed him in this episode. I really like that Barry found a way to be a hero in prison. The return of Bebo! I'm going to keep my eyes, eye emoji, open for this little blue guy in Star City. Speaking of Star City, I am glad that the secret is out and William knows what is going on. I think Felicity had some amazing things to say, and the storyline of Oliver as a husband and father is being handled well. Each episode is tied with a score of 8.
Okay.
I'm excited emoji, to learn more about the Black Lightning, but I am confused. Is he a metahuman? I haven't watched episode 2 of Black Lightning yet. Lightning emoji.
Yes, he's a metahuman.
Yes, he is a metahuman. Thank you for last week's episode, giving me new perspective on the things in last week's episodes that bothered you. I still love, heart emoji, them, and give them high marks, but I see your perspectives and the conversation was interesting. Have a super week, Justina.
All right.
Smile.
Thank you, Justina. Lots of emojis from Justina.
I love her emojis. They're my favorite thing.
Well, we always love hearing from Justina.
Yes. Did I do good?
You did good. You did great.
Okay.
Great job. Hopefully, Justina approved of your reading.
Of my reading, I hope so.
I'm sure she did.
It's always so upbeat and happy.
Yeah.
I don't know how if I can turn it up that high.
We need to channel that into like a force throughout the world. If we could harness the power of Justina, I think our world would be a much better place.
Oh, such a better place.
Yeah. So
there would be no war.
Yes.
If the power of Justina.
Just lots of emojis.
Oh, I would take every emoji in order for the world to be Justina.
All the emojis.
Oh.
All right.
If Justina could rule the world.
Exactly.
That would be a wonderful place.
Okay.
So thank you, Justina. You have a super week.
Yeah, exactly. You have a super week. So if you want to be like Justina, Karen, where can they reach us?
They can reach us at Fandom Zonecast on the Twitter machine or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fandom Zone Podcast. Or they can email us at fandomzonecast@gmail.com. You can listen and subscribe to us in Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. That's also feedback.
Excellent.
And me personally, I am at Aliveria and at Ali's_stuff on the Twitter machine. And there is a link in my bio to my blog. And there you can find all my other links to all my other podcasts. I have right now Made of Steel is running, and I have a couple more episodes of that, right? 1 more or 2 more episodes of that until the break.
Right.
Gotham's coming back in March. So
yeah, because Legends of Tomorrow replaces Supergirl for a little while.
Right, right. So Gotham Undercover is coming back in March. So that's when Gotham's coming back in March. So Gotham Undercover will be back
March 1st, I believe.
Right. And then March 11th, Timeless is coming back. So Remaking History will be back in mid-March.
Awesome.
So
you're getting right back in the thick of it, aren't you?
Right. But Made of Steel will be off.
Yep.
During that time. And then I'll have the other 2 back.
And then lots of this stuff here on the Phantom Zone podcast.
That's right. Phantom Zone running the entire time.
Yep.
So, but I am really looking forward to Remaking History. Timeless has been off for quite some time, and I'm super looking forward to that.
At least it came back.
So happy. And here's the upside real quick. It's coming back during the season. It's not coming back during summer. So there is an opportunity for it to be given additional episodes because it's still being filmed.
Okay.
Or, a bigger chance of it being renewed.
Okay. If everybody tunes
they'll
in.
get ratings. Yeah. So everybody watch, please, or at the very least, DVR it so that we can get those ratings.
Just as long as you watch it within the first 3 days.
Right. Or just replay it, for God's sake. Just,
yeah.
If you like me at all, just DVR it and play it while you're at work. I don't care. You don't
have to watch it, just play it.
I don't
So
care.
It counts.
Yeah. Just please. It's a great show. It's got a lot to do with history, and I'm such a history nut. It's just a really great show. So, and it's timey-wimey.
Yep.
So
I can get behind that.
Yeah. So that's coming back. So, anyway, let's get to you now.
All right. As for me, of course, I'm at Charles Skaggs on the Instagram, at Charles Skaggs on the Twitter machine.
Mm-hmm.
And Google Plus for all you crazy kids on the Google Plus. Facebook, of course, Charles Skaggs. And my blog, Geeky Things.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
Damn Good Coffee and Hot, where I talk about all the shows that we talk about here on the Fandom Zone podcast and more, including all kinds of comic book, sci-fi goodness, and stuff about my other podcasts I do for the Southgate Media Group, including, take a deep breath, Next Stop Everywhere, the Doctor Who podcast they do with Jesse Jackson, friend of the show. Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks podcast that I do with Zan Sprouse, wife of comic book artist Chris Sprouse, where I talk about all things Twin Peaks. And Titan Talk, the Titans podcast, which I also do with Jesse, which is coming soon as we record our 3rd episode, because apparently Rob wants to wait until we have 3 episodes in the can before we debut the series. So we've got 2 in the can. We just need to record 1 more so we can get it out there for everybody at last and stake our claim.
Excellent.
So stay tuned for that coming soon.
I can't wait.
Because 4 podcasts, that's plenty.
Yeah, well.
Lots of stuff. But
technically, I have more than that because
the
Scapecast is still coming out, even though we finished recording it like 3 years ago.
It just will not die.
Yeah.
All right.
He's really far behind on releasing it. But
apparently.
Yeah.
Okay. But thanks, everybody, for listening to the Fandom Zone podcast. We definitely appreciate you guys. And hopefully now that we're getting back into our routine, we'll keep that up. Let's
Georgia Karen
that's
is
the
good
plan.
Karen.
Yeah, exactly. We like Georgia Karen.
Yeah, Virginia Karen was good too.
But Georgia Karen is much more of a peach.
She was getting worn down there.
See what I did there?
Yeah,
she's a peach.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the peach cobbler here is so good.
I'll take your word for it. I'm not big on peaches, so not peach guy.
Oh, it's so good. I love all kinds of fruit though. So.
Well, that's good. All right. So thanks everybody for listening, and so we'll be back next week with lots more comic book shows, as always.
Mostly these
same ones.
Yeah.
But
mostly these.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully you enjoyed these, and then we'll talk about more of these.
Yeah.
Next week.
All
right.
So
bye, everybody.
Later on, guys.
Have a super week.
Have a super week.